Okay, just for the camera's sake, I'm going to keep the rolls off camera. I had the draw pile and discard pile in view, along with the trader house tile. Okay, we have my tableau up here, represented with the builder, the green one. Jen's tableau will be down here, represented by the yellow builder. My hand will be here with the green meeple. Jen's hand will be here with the yellow meeple. Jen shall be the first player, so she gets the governor placard. Okay, now in a two-player game, the governor will have 2 rolls, and the other player will have 1. So the governor will play 1 roll, and then the second player will do their roll, and then the governor will do a final roll. And then that'll be the end of the round. Alright, so now remember, you're supposed to keep your hand secret, but as usual I'm going to flip them over so everybody can see. Jen has an indigo plant. Okay, it costs 1 to build. It's worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. Okay, she also has the palace. The palace costs 6 to build, and at the end of the game, for every 4 points she earns with her tableau, she will gain 1 additional victory point with the palace. She has a trading post, which costs 2 to build. It's worth 1 victory point, and what it lets you do is sell 1 additional good. And the sugar mill. It costs 2 to build. It will give her 1 victory point, and it will produce 1 sugar. Okay, now I have the archive. Cost 1 to build. It's worth 1 victory point, and it will allow me to discard my hand in addition to draw cards. And I can do this during the counselor phase. I have another indigo plant. Cost 1, worth 1 point, can produce 1 indigo. I have the market hall. It costs 4. It's worth 2 victory points. And during the trader phase, I may take 1 card more for selling 1 good. And finally, I have the coffee roaster. Cost 4 to build. It's worth 2 victory points, and it produces 1 coffee. Okay, so Jen will go first, and the first thing she's going to do is she's going to choose the builder roll. Okay, so she wants to build a sugar mill. It will cost her 2 cards, which is the money in San Juan. She wants to build the sugar mill here, and being that she's the builder, it costs 1 less card for her, which is the money in San Juan. So she's going to keep the palace and the trading post, and then she's going to discard the indigo plant. Okay, now I can build if I choose to. And it will cost me the full price. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the archive. I can't afford the market or the coffee roaster, so I already have an indigo. Yeah, I'm going to build the archive, and to pay for it, I will discard the indigo plant. Okay, comes up to me. I'm going to play the prospector, and that simply allows me to draw 1 card. Draw the library, costs 5, it's worth 3 victory points, and during all phases I can use a privilege of the roll I choose twice. Okay, now Jen's going to choose to be the producer. Okay, and that allows her to produce 2 goods. So we take the top card and place it on the good she wants to produce. Okay, then it's my turn. And I can only produce one good, so I shall produce the indigo. Okay, so that's the end of round 1. The governor roll comes over to me. The rest is placed back in the, it normally would be up here. You would place the rolls back in line. Okay, so now it's my turn. I'm going to play the counselor. So I can draw 5 cards. Okay. And I drew the guild hall. It's where you gotta pay 6. At the end of the game, it's worth 2 additional points for every production building I have. The silver smelters cost 5 points. It's worth 3 victory points, and it produces a silver. The tower it costs 3 points. It's worth 2 points at the end of the game. And it'll allow me to have a hand of 12. The tobacco storage it costs 3 points. It's worth 2 victory points, and it'll produce a tobacco. And finally, the prefector costs 3. It's worth 2 points. And during the counselor phase, I can keep 1 more card from the draw. So, I can only choose 1. The tower's a good card to have. So is the guild for that matter. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the tower card. Okay, is that what I'm gonna do? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So I discard the rest. Now Jen draws 2. And she gets to keep 1. She's going to keep the chapel. This is a very good card to have. So basically what it is it costs 3 cards to build. You get 2 victory points at the end of the game. But in addition to this, every time you're the governor, you can place a card underneath from your hand. And at the end of the game, each card you place underneath this one is worth a victory point. So it's a very powerful card. Okay, so she's going to place that in her hand. Goes to Jen. She's going to choose to be the builder. And she's going to build the chapel. Okay, so it cost her 2 because she is the builder. It's 1 less card. It's a shame though, she's got to get rid of the palace. But she thinks she's going to make more points off the chapel. So she's going to discard the palace and the trading post. And it comes back to me. Now, I could choose not to build if I wanted to. And I'm thinking about that. So the only thing I can really afford right now is the tower. I would like to build the coffee roaster so I could get more production and make, done. It'll give me more cards. But, yeah, I'm gonna hold off. Okay. So that's the end of Jen's turn, and it comes back to me. I could play the trader card, but, I think it's kind of a waste. I only have 1 good. And, I know the indigo it's most likely only going to give me 1 card back. And it might give Jen, a 1 up there because she has the sugar mill and she could get a couple cards with that. So instead, I'm going to play the prospector again. Okay, and then I just draw a card blindly. And I draw the silver smelter. Okay, so that's the end of this round. Jen becomes the governor. Now she has no cards, so what she's going to do is she's going to play the trader. Okay, and that allowed her to trade these two goods. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll flip over the trader house tile. So for indigo, she gets 1 card, and then for the sugar, she'll get 2 cards. So it's total with 3 cards. She'll discard these 2, and then take 2 cards. Unfortunately, she didn't have any cards before, or she would put one in the chapel when she became the governor, but she didn't have any. So she takes these 3 cards, 1 for the indigo and then 2 for the sugar, and she'll put them in her hand. Now I will trade my indigo for a lonely card. Let's see what I get. I get the poorhouse. Now the poorhouse is worth, it costs 2 cards. It's worth 1 victory point. And what it allows you to do is, during the builder phase, you could take 1 card from the supply if you don't have any, or if you only have 1 card in your hand after building. So I'll place that there. And I forgot to tell you what Jen had. So Jen has the victory column. It costs 4 to build. It's worth 4, and there's no special function. It's just victory points. Jen also has City Hall. It costs 6. At the end of the game, she will earn 1 additional victory point for each of the violet buildings she owns. Another powerful card. She drew the quarry. It costs 4 cards. It's worth 2 victory points. And during the builder phase, she'll pay 1 less card when building a violet card. Okay. So, comes over to me. Now, I have 6 cards here, which is enough to build the silver. And I do need to produce some stuff, but I want to try and keep a hold of the library and the tower. You know, both of them are good cards. The market is, you know, they're pretty much all decent cards. The poorhouse, not so much, but I'm gonna build, and I think I'm gonna build a coffee roaster. Okay, so I have to pay 4 cards. I'm sorry, I have to pay 3 cards because I'm the builder. It's 1 less. I want to keep the build. I'm gonna, yeah. Oops. I'm gonna pay with the poorhouse, the silver smelter, and the market. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so it goes over to Jen. She could build 1 building if she wants to, but she can't. She can't afford any, so she's just going to pass. Okay, and finally it goes back to Jen. She's going to choose the producer role, and she's going to produce her indigo and her sugar. And then I will produce my coffee, because I know that's worth more. Okay, so that's the end of the round. I am now the governor. So I need cards. Can't build anything if I don't have cards. So I'm going to play the trader. Okay. And this will allow me to trade the coffee. Unfortunately, I only got 2 cards off it, but it's better than nothing. So, draw the statue with cost 3, and it's worth 3 victory points. No special ability there. And then I draw the silver smelter again, cost 5, worth 3. It produces silver. So we discard this one. Since Indigo and Sugar are only worth 1 card, she's gonna get rid of the Sugar card. Okay, and she draws the Poorhouse card. I already explained it, so we'll just put it in her hand. Okay, so now it goes back to Jen. Jen has enough to build a quarry or the victory column, but that would leave her with no cards, and she wants a card to place under the chapel for victory points. Okay, so Jen's gonna play the counselor. Okay, so she draws 5 cards and discards down to 1. Okay, now the Triumphal Arch. It's a powerful card again. Okay, it costs 6, but at the end of the game, she'll get 4, 6, or 8 victory points for every 1, 2, or 3 monuments she builds. So in other words, if she builds 1 monument, she gets 4 points, 2 monuments, 6 points, 3 monuments, 8 points. But it's an expensive card, and she wants to build that city hall because she's only going to build maybe 1, 2 more production cards, preferably the silver smelter because that's usually worth the most cards. Yeah, that's what she's gonna do. She's gonna keep that. Put the placard up there so we can keep track of it. And she's just gonna discard the rest. Okay, so I draw 2. And I'm gonna keep the well, which costs 2. It's worth 1 victory point. And when I'm the producer, I can take a card from the supply when I produce 2 goods. At least 2 goods. Okay. Comes back to me. I could build a library now. I have 4 points. But I wanna build another production card. I don't want to get rid of these cards yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the well. I'm going to choose the builder role and build the well. Okay, and it'll only cost me 1 card because I'm the builder. I'm going to discard the statue. Okay, over to Jen. Now Jen she's going to choose not to build. She could build the victory column or the quarry, but that would mean she'd be down to no cards again, and she'd rather have a victory point under the chapel. And she's probably going to put the poorhouse underneath the chapel. So she's going to hold off, not build anything. Okay, so that's the end of the round. Jen gets the governor. Okay. She makes sure that her hand's at 7 or less. And she chooses the poorhouse and slides it underneath the chapel. Okay. So now she's going to she's going to play the trader and try and get a few more cards. Okay, so our sugar mill is only worth 1 card, and she draws another sugar mill. She only had 1 card to produce, so that's all she could do. Goes over to me. I have nothing to produce, so that's the end of that. I am going to play the producer, and I will produce the coffee and the indigo. Comes back to Jen, and Jen's going to go with the sugar mill, because usually it's worth more cards than the indigo. Okay, so that's the end of my turn. Now Jen still doesn't have enough to build what she wants to, so she's going to play the prospector and just draw the carpenter. Now that costs 3. It's worth 2 points, and during the builder phase, she could take 1 card from the supply after building a violet card. So that's a pretty nice card too. Okay, I am now the governor, and the first thing I'm going to do is sell. I'm going to trade. So okay, so now the indigo is worth 1, and the coffee's worth 2. So that's 3 cards. I was hoping it was a little bit more, but okay, so I draw the gold mine, which costs 1 card. It's worth 1 victory point. And during the prospector phase, I can draw 4 cards from the supply. If all of them have different building costs, I may add an additional 1 to my hand. Okay, the well. Well, you already seen that. I already did that one. And then the market stand costs 2. It's 1 victory point. And during the trader phase, I can take 1 card from the supply when I sell at least 2 goods. Okay, so it's now Jen's turn, and she's going to sell her sugar. And she draws the aqueduct. Cost 3, it's worth 2 victory points. And during the producer phase, she can produce 1 more good than usual. Okay, it goes over to Jen. So now she knows she has enough cards. She wants to build. First thing she wants to get out is I think she's going to go with the silver smelter. City Hall would be nice, but she needs the upper production value, and the silver smelter is worth more than all of the production cards. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that what she wants to do? Yeah, that's what she's going to do. She's going to hold on to... She's actually going to hold on to the quarry. She's going to discard the carpenter, the sugar mill, the victory column, and yeah, I guess the aqueduct. And she's going to build the silver smelter. Comes over to me. I would like to build the silver smelter and then be done with production for a while. But that means I would have to discard these 2 cards, which I would like to build. The library, especially. Yeah, I'm going to build the tower, and then I'm going to discard these 3. Okay. And it comes back to me, and I am going to play the producer. So, I'm going to produce my indigo and the coffee, and then being I have the well here during the producer phase, I take one card from the supply when I produce 2 goods. So I draw the tobacco storage, which costs 3. It's worth 2 victory points, and it produces tobacco. Okay, so that's the end of that round. It's Jen's turn as the governor, and oh wait, I almost forgot. Jen will produce the silversmith. Now it's Jen's turn. She's the governor. She's going to discard the quarry. Keep the city hall. Okay, now her first thing she's gonna do is she's gonna produce. Okay, so she will produce her indigo and sugar. I can't produce anything, I already did. Comes over to me. I will play the trader. Okay, and let's see what the market is today. It's pretty good. I get 3 cards. So I'm going to trade the coffee and the indigo. Okay, and I get the crane. Costs 2. It's worth 1 victory point, and I can build over any building and pay the difference. Another crane. And finally, the guild hall. It costs 6, and at the end of the game, it earns 2 additional victory points for each of the production buildings I build. Okay. Jen will produce or trade the silver smelter. It's worth 3 cards. And she gets the trading post. Costs 2. It's worth 1 victory point. And I can sell an additional good, or Jen can sell an additional good rather. The smithy costs 1. It's worth 1 victory point. And she would pay 1 less when she is building a production building. And finally, the hero monument. It costs 5. It's worth 5. No special ability. Okay, so goes back to Jen. She really can't build. Or you know what? Yeah, she will. She's going to play the builder. And she's going to play the smithy. Now, it costs 1, but being she's the builder, it costs her 1 less. So she gets it for free. You can do that. You just can't go into the negative. So there she goes. And then it comes over to me. And I will choose to build, I think. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tough decisions here. I would like to get the silversmith out. That means I got to discard these 2 cards, and they're going to be worth something. I could play the library. I can't play the guild hall. Well, I don't plan on making too much more production building, so I think I'm going to discard that. Yeah, I'm going to build the tobacco. Okay, and then I'm going to discard these 3. Okay, so that is the end of that round.